Hey, what's going on, everyone? Christian over here at Radius, and today we are talking about appraisals, and we're talking about what happens when the appraisal comes in low. Okay, and we're pretty much going to go over, some couple tips we want to hit on right here on the left side. Then on the right side, I'm going to come up with basically the three most probable courses of action, and then we'll hit on the fourth one as well, which is not as probable. So, all right, so the appraisal comes in low, correct? So, throughout this entire video, we're going to say that the purchase price is $100,000, right? So, you made an offer on a home, you offered $100,000, the sellers agreed to that, and then you move forward with the transaction, right? So, the appraised value comes in at $90,000, right? So, it came in $10,000 less than what you're paying for the home, okay? So, a couple things right here. The purchase and sale should protect you, right? So you're going to have an attorney most likely draft up a purchase and sale. Sometimes the realtors do it. Depends on what state you're in. However, the purchase and sale should have some sort of verbiage in there where it says the home needs to appraise at or above the purchase price. Okay, so don't freak out. Right off the bat if your appraisal comes in low and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to lose my earnest money deposit. The purchase and sale should absolutely protect you. Right here, lender concerns. So your home, the home that you're purchasing is our collateral, right? So we don't want to lend you $100,000 to buy an asset that is only worth $90,000, right? So right off the bat, us, the lender, we're going to have an issue with this appraisal coming in low. Last point right here. This could actually be beneficial for you, right? So right off the bat, you might be able to purchase this property at a lower purchase price than when you originally started this process, right? And then also, if the negotiations start getting a little difficult and stuff like that, 9 times out of 10, the sellers probably don't want to put the house back on the market. Even though we're in a really hot seller's market right now, the last thing those sellers want to do is to have to start the process over and put the house back on the market and look for a new buyer, right? So this actually, having an appraisal come in low, it could actually work out to your benefit, all right? All right, so now let's talk about the 3 most likely courses of action, right? 9 times out of 10, one of these 3, this is what's going to happen. So most advantageous right here, number 1, the seller drops the purchase price to $90,000, right? So you and or your realtor are going to go back to the sellers and say, look, I know we made an offer of $100,000. However, the appraisal came in at $90,000. We don't want to pay $100,000 for a home that's only worth $90,000. So the seller capitulates and says, okay, we'll drop the purchase price to $90,000. That is the best case scenario for you as the buyer. Number 2 right here, you and the seller can split the difference. So the seller is going to drop the purchase price $5,000 to $95,000, right? Now you, as the buyer, you need to make up that difference between the purchase price and the appraised value. So that means you would have to put an extra $5,000 down for your down payment. All right, so just like we talked about, it's just splitting the difference right there. And then the third kind of course of action, not the most beneficial to the buyer, is for the buyer to put an extra $10,000 down, right? So in this scenario, the sellers might say, hey, look, we know the home is worth $100,000. That's why we accepted your offer of $100,000. And we had 10 other competing offers. It's a really hot seller's market. We're sticking with the purchase price of $100,000, right? So in that situation, you would have to put down an extra $10,000 or whatever the difference is between that appraised value and the actual purchase price. Okay? Now, this last one, you can dispute the appraisal. Just real quick up front, this is going to be time consuming. It's going to be, very work intensive on the realtors for both sides. And a lot of times the appraiser is not going to change his or her mind, but it is an option. So basically, if we want to dispute the appraisal, if we want to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Appraiser, you valued this home at $90,000. Here's, 3, 4, 5 comparable sales in your local area that suggest or that prove that the home is actually worth $100,000. So we can bring comparable sales into the equation. We can give those comparable sales, they're called comps, to the underwriter, and then the underwriter will take it to the appraiser to try and bump that appraised value price up. But again, just want to reiterate, disputing the appraisal is, it can be time intensive, work intensive on both realtors, and a lot of times it doesn't work out reaching back out to the appraiser. But it is an option. I hope this was helpful. Please, hit me up with any questions regarding appraisals, mortgages in general, and I hope you liked the video. See ya.